A few things to talk about in this game. The Vancouver Canucks against the Islanders tonight. It's some Monday Night Hockey. This is another reignition of the Calder War. And this one, really, let's just face it, Barzal's gonna win the Calder. Let's just establish that right off the bat. So, a few things I wanted to talk about this game. I got like 3 points labeled down. First off, it's the goals of the game, obviously. Second off is, well, an unfortunate counter hit. And thirdly, is something that I think a lot of people might have forgotten because it happened so early into the game. Jacob Markstrom pumping the tires of his teammates. So because, let's go in chronological order here. Let's start off with that. So the Islanders get things off. They're outshooting the Canucks 9-1. It's up to 10-1 at one point. Josh Bailey gets a really nice looking goal. This one, it's a shot off of Markstrom. A big rebound comes right over to him. He shoots it in 5-hole. Markstrom, he's pissed. After he lets up the goal, Markstrom stands back up, and you can see his whole front upper half of his body lean forward, and he just yells, or something like that. I don't want to yell because it's 9:43 p.m. right now. I don't want to do that. So he yells. It's really loud, and eventually they change the camera angles and everything. They do the replay and all that, and you see Markstrom looking at his bench, and again, his upper half of his body, it moves forward twice, and you hear just a really loud, "Let's go!" And of course, it's 9:44 p.m. I don't really want to be that loud. He just yells, "Let's go!" And John Garrett at this point, he says something that I really think is funny, and I kind of do agree with. And John Garrett mentions the idea that, you get hyped up about these kinds of things, you get pissed off about these kinds of things, but it's up to you on how you react to that. Because Jacob Markstrom, he can do whatever he wants, of course, he's freedom of speech, right? But to be that kind of guy who stands up and he yells at the rest of the team, "Let's go," when he's the guy who lets in 3 goals on 5 shots once in a while, you don't expect the bench to yell at him, "Let's go," right? So, although you could take a look at this and say, yeah, no, Marky is obviously not wrong here, when Markstrom made those comments about how some of the players on the Canucks aren't playing like NHL caliber players, sure, you could say that he's correct, and for sure, he's not wrong. But I don't know if that's the most appropriate thing to be expressing through the media and all that. And I know that when he made those comments initially, he said, yeah, I'm bad, but the rest of this team is not as good either. But still, I don't know what the locker room situation is like with the Canucks. I hope it's doing well. It's just, comments like that and the passion expressed in this game. John Garrett, I think he just said it the best. So speaking of the goals, let's talk about those for a little bit. Let's skip the Islanders' goals because if I talked about every single goal, I'd be here forever. Brendan Leipsic gets the first goal of the game here. This one, it is ignited by a Jake Virtanen break-in. Starting things off about Jake Virtanen, he was amazing this game, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So Virtanen, he comes in, he cuts in hard, he uses his body to protect the puck from the defender approaching him. There's a few passes going around, it's at the point, Pouliot's got it, sends it back in deep, Horvat, Virtanen, all those guys. Horvat is behind the net, he passes it out to the side to Virtanen, he throws one on net, it bounces in front, and Brendan Leipsic is there, right at the doorstep, backs it, up high, roofs it, backhander, it's in the net, his first goal as a Vancouver Canuck, and what a beauty this one was. Everybody was awesome on this play. The defense getting involved, Pouliot, I liked his play, Virtanen, his breakout, Horvat, obviously fantastic, and overall a very well-deserved goal for Brendan Leipsic. And speaking of well-deserved goals, Darren Archibald, literally just a few seconds later, gets himself a penalty shot. This one, he's got a Jaro Halak who's thinking 5-hole. He's got that 5-hole covered the entire time, so Archibald kind of he shimmies around him a little bit, and he's like, nope, I'm going far side, and he goes in, and it's in the net. This one was really awesome. Archibald absolutely deserves it. His 3rd of the year. He plays so hard every shift. He deserves nothing less. And him playing with Mott and Sutter tonight, I thought that was a really strong line for the most part. Mott had strong moments in the game. Of course, he wasn't noticeable every single second he was out there, but Archibald definitely is one of those guys who's like, yeah, he's a good player, and I'm happy to have him on the team. And Sutter, of course, you could say whatever you want about Sutter. Sutter is just Sutter. Playing with Archibald and Mott, though, I think he's been kind of leveling up a little bit, you can say that. And if we want to go over the other goals in the game, let's go over to the third period. Jake Virtanen, finally, he gets himself another one after a really strong game where he's attempting these wraparounds, he's wheeling with the puck, running right in, skating hard, protecting the puck with his body. Hard game for Jake Virtanen tonight. Arguably his best game of his career in a Vancouver Canucks uniform. And this one, wow, this one was great. This one set up by an Erik Goodbranson giveaway. Honestly, like, Erik Goodbranson, man, just what the heck. But the Canucks are able to regain the puck afterwards. Brendan Leipsic, he's got a one-on-one opportunity. He feeds it over to Jake Virtanen, who's in alone in the slot, and he shoots it. It's in the net. What a great goal, and what a good setup. His second point of the night, Brendan Leipsic's. His second point of the night, Jake Virtanen's. And his 8th goal of the season. Jordan Eberle gets one a little bit later because, you know, Team Tank is a thing, and I was actually really happy with this power play goal. But what happens after is kind of shocking. Here are 10 things that happened during the Canucks game. Number 7 will shock you. This one was shocking. Brock Boeser coming in on the back check. Cal Clutterbuck has the puck. He's skating along with it. He goes over to the backhand. It's about the red line. And Brock Boeser is backing into him. So what does Cal Clutterbuck do? He does the normal play. He moves the puck forward. He gets his body in position to receive the hit. And Boeser, like the 191-pound man he is, going up against a 200-and-something-teen-pound Cal Clutterbuck, he bounces right off him. Clutterbuck receives the hit well, pushes Boeser off. The door is open to the bench. Jake Virtanen just got off on a change, and Boeser slams his tailbone on the inside of the panels of the frames of the ice. And he's down. He's down on the ice. It's like 20 seconds left in the period. And Brock Boeser is down. A lot of people were like, why the hell aren't they going after Clutterbuck? What are you doing? Erik Goodbranson, what are you doing? Go get him. Go get him. He just destroyed Boeser. Get him. Nobody really went after him as much as I think a lot of people expected them to. But I'm fine with it. And I'm not fine with Brock Boeser getting injured. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Brock Boeser getting injured in this play was really just a product of his own decision-making that really shouldn't have transpired. You don't want to hit a guy like Cal Clutterbuck like that. And I'm not going to sit here pretending that this was Brock Boeser's fault, but at the same time, I'm not going to be sitting here saying that Cal Clutterbuck is the reason that Brock Boeser is injured. Because Cal Clutterbuck did the normal hockey play. You take 100 NHL players to be put in that position that Cal Clutterbuck was in, 99 of them will do the same thing Clutterbuck did. The only difference here is, well, Clutterbuck, he's 5'11", so he's short, and he's like 217 pounds. So he's short and he's heavy. So, is it surprising that a guy like Brock Boeser bounced right off him? Off of this physical Cal Clutterbuck, who, let's be honest, he plays physically even though he's 5'11", and he's able to play physically because his body allows that. It doesn't surprise me that the outcome of this was Boeser, well, getting shoved down. The only difference is, well, you do that play 100 times and Boeser doesn't get clipped on the inside of the boards more than 3 times. This was just unlucky. I don't want to sit here saying that it was Brock Boeser's fault, but at the same time, if Brock Boeser never hit the guy, this wouldn't have happened. I don't want to say this is Cal Clutterbuck's fault. This is not his fault. But at the same time, you hit Cal Clutterbuck, you're going to go down. So, this is just a lose-lose situation here. There is no winner. You can't really get anything by arguing. There's no real reason to get pissed off at Clutterbuck. He just did what any normal hockey player would do. It was just extremely lucky that the guy that Brock Boeser hit just happened to be short and pretty heavy. So, that's it. That's going into the overtime. The energy is drained from the arena and everything. And the overtime is kind of interesting. I mean, I'm watching this one kind of lifeless because I'm just thinking, oh man, Brock Boeser's going to be out. Please sit him for the rest of the season. I don't want him to get rushed in and potentially hurt himself even more. But then Brendan Leipsic comes around and he does something. He forechecks on a backtracking Anthony Beaulieu. And he steals the puck from him. And the puck is bouncing, and then Jaro Halak comes out of his net, and then, like, he pokes it, and then Brendan Leipsic's like, nope, he goes to the forehand, and he totally, like, Alex Burrows on Tim Thomas's that, goes around him, steps around the man, the goaltender, He's got an open cage and he buries it. Brendan Leipsic has a 3-point game. What the heck? 2 goals, 1 assist for the brand new acquisition from Philip Home. Brendan Leipsic had a strong game tonight. Him playing on a line with Bo Horvat and Jake Virtanen was really good. And I know I'm always talking about the lines. I talk about how Berchi, Horvat, Boeser was a good line. I talked about how Horvat, Boeser, Leipsic was a good line. Virtanen, Horvat, and Leipsic is a good line too. And fueled with a consistently good Bo Horvat, a Jake Virtanen who had his best game ever tonight, and Brendan Leipsic who's on fire getting 3 points, this was a strong game. Jaro Halak, you just got beat. Tavares, you couldn't backcheck on that. Leipzig's too skilled. I digress. This is me trying to maintain a positive image for you guys while trying to get rid of the inexorable pensive fact that's lingering in the back of my mind that Brock Boeser will probably be out for an extended period of time. They were saying his tailbone, so take that as you will. Canucks beat the Islanders in overtime. It's a team tank loss because we get 2 points. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. For plus, you should download your gaming, and bye.